All right, everybody, it's time to write a conclusion. So this this lesson is intended to help you with writing a conclusion for an essay. Now, I know this is it says for an informational essay, but the conclusions are pretty much the same for an opinion and an informational essay. So we're going to start with informational, and we're going to walk you through the steps of writing a good conclusion. All right, so writing a conclusion. Follow these steps to write our conclusion. We're going to reread the introduction and pay attention to the hook that we use, okay? So we want the conclusion to tie in with the hook. We're going to reread the sample essay and ask yourself, what do I want the readers to remember? So this is your last chance to grab the reader's attention. So you want to make sure that you have a powerful conclusion. And then we're going to write a conclusion that connects to the hook and leaves the reader with something to remember. Okay? All right, read the introduction. So let's read an introduction, and we're going to pay attention to the hook that was used. Remember, we are writing to explain the different types of pools. All right? Have you ever jumped into a cool pool on a hot day? Are you lucky enough to have a pool in your backyard? Any of the different types of pools will help you cool off. All right, so this is our introduction. And notice that there are two questions in the hook. Both questions refer to the types of pools. Next, we will read the middle paragraphs and ask ourselves, what do we want the readers, to remember? All right. So according to the articles Building a Swimming Pool, there are three kinds of pools. The first kind of pool is a concrete pool. This seems like a good pool because it is the strongest. Pools get used a lot by kids, so they need to be really strong. The bad part about it is that it will take the longest to build. 12 weeks is a really long time to wait. Another kind of pool is a vinyl pool. This seems great because it only takes a few weeks to build. I would much rather only wait 3 weeks than 12. Waiting is hard. The bad part about a vinyl pool is that anything sharp can make a hole in it. There might be branches or sticks that fall in the pool. Then you could have a hole and a leak. You would need to keep that pool safe so you can keep swimming. The third kind of pool is fiberglass. This seems good because they don't use chemicals, but these pools might be lifted over your house to get in the backyard. I don't think I would want a pool going over my house. What if it fell? Bang! All right, so now we read through those three paragraphs, the three body paragraphs, and we noticed that each paragraph talked about a different type of pool, three different types of pools. When I ask myself, what do I want my readers to remember, I think about what was included in the writing. I noticed that in the lead, the introduction, I focused on spending time in a pool. In the body paragraphs, we focused on the good and the bad parts of the pool. So each paragraph in the body of your essay had a good point and bad points about the pool, each type of pool. All right, so now we're going to do a 3-step process for planning for the ending. In your conclusion, you'll want to make a statement about pools that connect to the hook. All right? So the first thing that you're going to do is make a statement about something that connects, that ties it into the hook. Then I'll follow it up with what's called a comma, and sentence, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. So you want a comma, and sentence. And then finally, you end with a sentence for the readers to remember. This is what I call the PAL sentence. All right, so let's write the conclusion. First, First, I'll make a statement about pools that connects to the hook. All right? As any of us would be lucky to have a pool to cool off in. So remember, we made that statement about cooling off in a pool. So this ties in to that initial hook. All right. Next, I use what's called a comma, and sentence about pools. So now this is where we're going to tie in our 3 different paragraphs. A concrete pool, comma, a vinyl pool, comma, and a fiberglass pool all have good and bad things to think about. So there's our 3 types of pools that we included in each of our body paragraphs. And then finally, we're going to end with a sentence to remember, the POW sentence. And each one will do the job of cooling you off on a hot day, though. All right. So we had the 3 different types of sentences. The first sentence that ties in with a hook. Then we have the comma, and sentence, and finally the POW sentence. All right. All right. So here is what our conclusion ended up as. As any of you would be lucky to have a pool to cool off in. A concrete pool, a vinyl pool, and a fiberglass pool all have good and bad things to think about. Each one will do the job of cooling you off on a hot day, though. Okay? So now we have our 3 parts of our conclusion. All right, now we're going to try it on our own. So we're going to write our own conclusion. There's an article, and this article is also linked in Google Classroom Language Arts. There's a copy of it, so you don't feel like you have to memorize it on this slideshow. But it's on there, and we're going to break our conclusion into the 3 parts. So here is the text, and again, it's on the worksheet in Google Classroom Language Arts. So you read through it, okay, and then you come up with a sentence that now, understanding we haven't written an essay yet, so we don't have an introduction, but you're going to make up something as an introduction to the conclusion. Then we're going to have a comma, and sentence, and then we're going to have a PAL sentence, a conclusion sentence. All right. So on your own, use your student handout. It's linked in Google Classroom. Reread the introduction. Well, we don't have the introduction. And pay attention to the hook. Read the sample essay and ask yourself, what do I want my readers to remember? And then write a conclusion that connects to the hook and leaves the readers with something to remember. All right. So again, it's linked in Google Classroom Language Arts. Go ahead and open it up and read through the text. Come up with a good opening sentence, a comma, and sentence, and then a powerful POW statement. All right. Good luck.